All right, call this meeting to order. If everyone would stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Frazier.
Here.
Councilwoman Fleming.
Here.
Councilman Kuhn.
Here.
Councilman Florence.
Here.
Town clerk here. Town attorney.
Here. Good. Item number 1 is addition, deletions, changes, approval of agenda.
I do have a couple. We're going to move item number 3 to item number 6. And we're going to remove item number, under item 5, new business, we're going to remove number 8.
Hold on a second. You said 3 to 6. We got
Item number 3.
We got a 6.
I know, move it to
Move it to
6 and move that one
I
down.
see what you're saying.
Okay.
Item-
Insert it above citizen comments. And then remove, under new business, item 5, remove number 8.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
You request for money,
Yes, remove that.
remove it.
Yeah, I spoke to Mr. Jackson already, so we've already handled that.
Those two things.
Oh, breakfast, transfer, and addition. Slow, write it down so I don't forget it. And then you said, what did you say, what did you say?
Remove under item number 5, number 8.
So 2 changes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Need a motion to approve agenda with changes.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda with changes.
Would all in favor of approving agenda with changes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All right, we are item number 2, meeting minutes. Approval of minutes from April 15th, 2024 meeting. Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for April 15th, 2024 meeting.
Good, all in favor of approving the minutes from April 15th, 2024, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right, item number 3 is aye. We're going to skip that and go to public participation, correct?
Correct.
All right, at this time we have public participation.
I have one
All right, we just want to make sure that it's on the agenda. Well,
for the agenda items, yes.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I have one.
All right.
Mr. Ford?
I just pick on when I get to number 8 from new business.
No, you talk about the agenda item up front under public participation.
I'm just requesting that y'all approve it, that's all.
Okay. Yeah, what's, Ms. Ford, I'm sorry, what do you?
His contraction of
Yeah,
number
number
8,
eight.
or 7.
Well,
public
7,
meeting.
7, yes.
7.
Number 7,
Oh,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay?
All right.
All
So
right.
we'll close public participation. We'll move on to item number 5, which is new business. First up, we have Brian Roche.
Mr. Roche is from North Florida Professional Services, and he's going to do an update on our sewer system. Yes?
What did we do with item 3?
We moved it.
You moved it.
That's when we moved it. That's when we moved.
Okay, I got you.
I know that kind of confused me.
Okay.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. Myself, Ricky Hendricks, and Darren Kilfoyle are here for NFPS. Been working on the project to build a wastewater plant, convert the septic tanks to centralized sewer. We've been meeting every few weeks. We meet with Clerk Connie and Mayor Frazier on occasion. Not every time, but so we asked to just do a brief update of where we stand in the project, what we're looking at doing. I think maybe 6 months ago we came out here and did a brief update, and then take any questions people have. So just kind of yeah, I like pictures, and sometimes, pictures, I still like paper, I'm old school. So we're working on engineering drawings. We basically are looking at 2 different projects, and we're gonna show a couple, 4 or 5 slides that take these engineering drawings that have all the details that will go to construction and show what we're doing and be able to pinpoint anything that anybody today has questions. And we'll also come back as needed. So just a summary where we stand, we're within 2 or 3 months, we'll be ready for the engineering drawings to go to construction bid, which usually takes 2 or 3 months, and the town will lead that. And so we would see certainly by January 1st, you'll have construction going. Well, contracts and things probably can be done earlier, but maybe some mobilization. But kind of look at 6 months now, give or take. Certainly by the end of the year, I would expect to see dirt moving, and which is a good thing. And then that project will take about 18 months. So we'll go through a few slides to kind of, that's the backdrop of it and what we have. So what we're doing, there's really 3 phases of this project, and it's phase 1 of it, and we'll go to what we're going to do more immediately, but phase 1 is 79 parcels. You can kind of see the numbers up on the north of, I guess that's actually west of State Road 47. And
He's talking about this area.
yeah, the blue, and the light pink, and the yellow. That's what we're calling phase 1. But this picture is more for the backdrop. Phases 2 and 3 will incorporate to the east of the major roads and north and south. So the first thing we're going to do is 79 units that we believe are about 30 residential, 35 commercial, and 15 vacant lots. That's give or take 1 or 2. We've been through every address. We looked at what sort of driveways are currently there. Every detail, we're going to put 3 pump stations in green. It shows LS1, LS2, and LS3. So we'll go to details. Another slide has that blown up. And then after that is moved along, there should be opportunity to do what we're looking at this point in time. We haven't started design, but input from Connie and the mayor and anybody else there. We're looking at possibly the next stage, which would be on the south of County Road 18, where it says projected flows at the Brown area. If there's more money available with the grant, to use another project to build another lift station and put more conversions there. And that's kind of what we think is going to happen during phase 1 and 2. And we believe money's available for that. After that, then new money would have to be found for grants or other methods to go from there. So kind of you could hit the next one. And really, what are the objectives here? You look at environmental kind of drives it. That's why the state grants money. Mostly. While certainly there has some economic benefits, but this is a grant that's related to environmental reasons. And here with the pristine waters, with the Itchitotney, and just the nature background of here, it's good to be able to look at what you can do environmentally, and certainly that's why the state supported the grants. Centralized water sewer, if you go back hundreds of years in different urban areas, moved from non-centralized to central, and then suburban areas and more rural areas, and that's just the way that things have moved over time. Overall, there's a lot of benefits of it. Certainly there's some aspects, some people would rather stay like it is, but that's the movement where things have gone in the water wastewater world. And then treatment of wastewater for effluent disposal. Right now, if you have 79 units that have their own septic tanks, maybe when that septic tank's brand new or operate and maintained well, it's doing an adequate job. But I don't think anyone would say septic tanks is an excellent job of treating wastewater. I think the best case of that is to do it adequately, and then to be able to keep that up over time. It's not the same as taking wastewater using biological methods, whether it's air, whether it's bugs. I like calling them bugs, a different type of treatment processes to minimize the effluent of nitrogen and other type of byproducts of the wastewater system to minimize the impacts on the environment, whether that's soils or water. And then commercial services essential. Everything I've heard, my experience, I think when I mentioned last time, a lot of people like myself experience in Fort White is Itchitotney. Yeah, and then you always you went a lot when you were young and it got a little cold, but maybe right now the cold is nice. You take people here that never been here, and they're amazed by it, you know, and it's so, but the commercial services of having a grocery store, a restaurant business, for the people who live here all the time, there's a lot of benefits of that. And, you know, it's not just people coming in for the beautiful day. So I think with commercial services, with the septic tanks, you're going to be limited to having any of that commercial establishments of any magnitude with the septic tanks. And generally planning for the future, the objective of this project is not just for, you might go back one page, not just what we're doing now, but it's planning for the future. So I should have mentioned the wastewater plant is in the green box down the south end there. Right now we're building what we call 2 trains, 2 25,000-gallon trains. What we have in the gray boxes at the bottom is 2 other that has the ability to expand. So as more money comes available and more connections and get through, because it's a major ordeal to have this construction go on in your community, that you plan for the future. So we're making sure we're laying out the plant to be able to expand, the spray field in that area to be able to handle the future flows of that plant. And then, you know, 1 decade, there'll be opportunity to have other treatment plants that probably would be more, make sure I get the direction right, more west and towards maybe a little bit north, you know, where Three Rivers stays and places like that. Long term, there's going to be a need for that to happen. But this is the first stages. And then I mentioned the plant capacity already. So the state grants are $9.8 million. It was 5.3 originally. And to help me out, please, kind of was about 4.5, was maybe only 6 months ago or so that became available. We worked on that. So we originally 2-3 years ago, 5.3 million might have built the 50,000 to 79 connections. It was probably pretty close pre-COVID times, but you know, infrastructure costs have significantly gone up, probably at a higher pace than everything else. Amazingly, you know, you think about inflation, but the infrastructure, especially in Florida, as things are growing, pipes and pumps and equipment has gone up. So securing that second 4.5 allowed to make sure that we do have funds available to do all 79 connections. Very confident that should happen. Not sure how much will be left over. Believe that would be in a $2 to $3 million type range left over from that 9.8 for this first one. We'll find out when it goes out to bid, and then they can be used to do what we're calling phase 2. So one really positive is that your decision, and you know, the town leadership is midpoint of if you connect initially, at least there's no cost to it. There's and I've been through it. Most of my career has been in Jacksonville, and we've been through 20 years of this. And early on, first thing they would do was do septic tank phase out, but it didn't pay for the reversals. I like to call it reversal. If you had a septic tank in the backyard, but the pipe was coming out the front, customers were paying for that and realized, boy, that didn't go over too well. You know, then maybe a few years later, did another one in 205, 206, and didn't pay for the capacity fees. Capacity fees is for treatment capacity. So customers were paying what's called $1,000 at the time, and realized that's not too good. And because it's a lot of inconvenience for the construction, it's good long term. There is a cost on a monthly fee going forward. So, you know, I believe what we're doing here at Fort White, other communities have learned before you that it really isn't good to have. It's really cradle to grave. Get this thing, everything done here. There's no upfront cost, not a penny. Regardless of the septic tanks in the back and the front and things like that, repair the landscape like it is. In the sense I say landscape, I probably should correct myself. The sod, the asphalt, or any sort of gravel, or if there's concrete, that gets repaired back and rehab like it was. Shrubbery and bushes, certainly try to minimize that, but you never can replace that totally in kind. But we've tried to minimize that, and that will be dealt with too as need to. So I think that's an important thing. No, there's costs. Now, you know, the town can decide if for some reason there's 1 or 2 parcel that doesn't connect or what have you, or what happens the next stage. But this initial time is no hookup cost. Go ahead and then slide 3. Just want to highlight, really focus on phase 1, what we're doing here. Like I said, dirt will be turning in early January, it should be, and construction actually mobilized before. We're looking at just those 79 units, There'd be 3 lift stations. All 3 lift stations in Kirkland are town property. And then we, make sure that was it. There's a couple of spots that will need access for a pipe to go to during construction or for permanent, but the lift station itself is on town property. And then looking at May 26 completion, that's approximately 18 months of construction. That's what the grant is currently at this time. So, and anything we do to keep that in, that makes life a lot simpler for everybody. And just really wanted to, the last slide is just a blow up of it, and maybe pause for a minute and see if there's any Q&A, before, if there's any other details you'd like us to share, any general questions from the town council or anybody in the audience.
Could you back up to the slide that you showed that talked about the expected capacity each of the 3 phases, please?
Yes, because the first one probably coming.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Correct, thank you.
So phase 1 is looking at 22,500 is the calculated capacity. Is that what you're asking about?
It is. Okay. And then phase 2 adds,
Phase 2 would be half of that bottom brown part, and that would add another 16,000 gallons. That is a design flow, so if you add 16 and 22, you'd be up about 38,000 or 41,000 gallons, about 80% capacity of the plant. Do we believe that that will all flow day one? Probably not. Because some of even the vacant lots, we put a design flow in for it. And then you see how that goes. When plants get up to 80% capacity, you got to start working on new ones, at least some plans. And we'll do there'll be a need at that time to do a capacity analysis report to track the flows on a monthly basis, see where that goes.
so that 50 or 55,000 gallons per day number of the plant capacity, is that just the green right there, or
Yes,
is that
sir.
including the gray?
Just the green. So it has capacity to double that, to 100,000 gallons. So what we envision that this whole area would be 100,000, usually pretty good at math. This adds up to about 80, 90,000 gallons on paper and that's design flow. At the end, when you say you're 5 years down the road and you do a phase 3 and you expand that plant to 100,000 gallons, the actual number of connections in the the red area is the school type. We put capacity for the school. School has a plant right now. But at this point in time, from a design point of view, you want to make sure that you've got capacity if 5 years now the school's coming into it. But maybe the school doesn't come into it, and that makes sure we have projected flows of the other parcels. And some of that, historically, people have used 350 gallons per day per house on sewer. And Ricky, correct me, I believe generally that's what we use our residential here is 350 gallons per day. A lot of communities have moved to 250 or even 200 gallons a day per residential house. Businesses are all different. So I believe there's some, what I would call it, a little bit of spare capacity in that assessment, that over time every community or every system has its own average daily flow.
Good. And I just have one more question.
Go ahead.
What happens to all the existing septic tanks and systems that are in the ground for here?
They get abandoned in place. Typically you crush them, you can fill them and crush them and abandon them in place. And you disconnect them, and then the pipes from the house get connected to the centralized sewer. Every one of these 79 connections has what we call a lateral. It goes into a gravity main down the road, and actually I say down the road, we got most of the place we got adjacent to the road. We do cross over some pavement at times, we minimize that, but they get crushed and abandoned in place.
So phase 1, there is residential going to be hooked to it.
30 are residential, yes.
That's
It
phase
might be
1.
off 1 or 2, Bill, but it's 30, give or take 30, yes.
Okay. And that getting to phase 2, how many?
There's 35 more customers. So phase 1 has 79, phase 2 has approximately 35 customers, so we're looking at, what's that, 115, 114 customers. So phase 1, we believe they're, basically we cut this in half, 35 lots would be in there. And the exact design has
So
been.
after phase 2, that's the whole city limits?
No, phase 2 would be half of the bottom, up on the road, south of County Road 18, east of 27. That brown area in the bottom right, phase 2 is only like a half of that slice.
Okay.
Now, if we get
All
more
right.
money, if we
Yes.
get more grant money, that can change.
Then you can do the orange and the red and area. See the orange and the red? That would be more of a phase 3. So this is phase 1 and 3, the whole picture of it. So phase 3 would be the 16,000 gallons, the 10,000 gallons in red, the 23,000 gallons in orange, and about half of that 32,000, so 16. So what we believe is phase 2 is about half of that bottom right in brown approximately. And that's not been designed, it's just conceptually, really it's at this stage of this paper. What we do is make sure that like lines like this line's big enough to handle that flow. We know a pump will run in that. We laid it out so a pump can get a decent amount of gravity flow, can get it and collect that area, connecting the pine and the force main, so that when it after it gets pumped, pumps into there. So we conceptualized that, but there's no other work on that, and that hasn't been decided on at this point in time. We'll see how much money's left in the town council in good direction at that point in time. Ricky, there, not missing anything.
Don't get blind.
Good?
Good, Brian, thank you. Thank you for your update. Yes, sir. All right.
Be excited to see dirt turning.
Yes, yes.
Back to Doug Saunders.
Yep.
Sanders.
For the record, I'm Doug Sanders, and I'm with Andy Easton and Associates. And Andy and I were asked to consider giving this council information on setting up a community redevelopment area, CRA. And you were given a finding of necessity report handed out at your last meeting. And you had a month to look at it. And the finding of necessity report, based on state criteria, identified areas of Solomon Bight in Fort White. And if the CRA is set up, it helps the development area generate additional income from the tax levy that would come to the council. In order to move forward, Connie has presented to you all a resolution that can be approved tonight that would set up the finding of necessity report. Now, I realize the town has no local tax, so the tax we're talking about is the tax that the county has. So what that means is if you approve this report tonight and you decide what city blocks would go into the CRA, in 1 year's time, if there's any increment increase, that money would no longer go to the county, it would come to you. At that time, you would have an established bank account that would receive that money from the county. I also understand that you are anticipating having a local tax. And if that's the case, and if it's approved, then you have that also to help the town with its revenue. I've talked with Connie before, and it's amazing, sales tax and other kind of taxes, user tax, have basically funded your city all these times. It's remarkable. I've never known a community that has no local tax. So before you tonight is the resolution and the finding of necessity report. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Is this what you wanted done?
No, let me. So I think if there's no questions.
No, I think we talked about this already. The whole council agreed on something already, so.
Okay.
That'll be, again, a motion to approve resolution number 2024-01, a resolution of the Town Council of Fort White, Florida, adopting a finding of necessity report and including and adopting the resolution as exhibit A.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution R2024-01.
Second.
So all in favor of approving resolution 2024-01, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
So now your next step, at your next meeting, between now and your next meeting, start thinking about which areas of the downtown would be included in this CRA. And especially with the presentation I just saw, if there is any development area out there, commercial, that will be in the future development of the town, you want that included. You want the commercial areas to be included in the CRA because they are the biggest revenue generators. So you have some time to do that.
While you're up there, Mr. Jones, you want to go ahead and handle number 3?
This is Resolution 2024-02. This is to approve submission to the State of Florida Division of Historic Resources to preserve the Mayor's Park and the caboose. This is just to get it on the historical register, and by doing so, it opens up the possibilities, a lot more possibilities for grant funding to rehab and redo the caboose and to redo and maintain the train depot.
We have an engineering firm in Tampa at no cost to the town that is doing a project budget update. The caboose is going to cost some money. It's going to be close to $200,000. It's in bad shape. I haven't really determined what it's made of. If you go up to it and push on the walls, it's like paper.
Plywood.
So it's some kind of plywood, cardboard, whatever. I've never seen anything like it. But that's what makes the depot special. It's a short caboose that was manufactured over 7 years ago. And it was done cheap and quick to get the Central Florida on the ground to become one of the largest railroads in the country. However, the severe weather of Florida plays havoc on those depots. So anyway, the resolution that you now have before you will be part of the grant application to restore the depot, to restore the caboose. And I didn't ask Connie to put it on the agenda, depending on how long this meeting is. I've got a PowerPoint showing the interior of the depot. It's remarkable. You've got a potbelly stove in there. It's like walking back in time. It is incredible. I physically cannot get into that depot. I was at an operation last summer.
The caboose.
I'm sorry, the caboose. But it is.
It's in the caboose.
So the caboose has been a victim of weather and vandalism. It was hit big time. I have a picture where somebody used a big vat of red ink and just sprayed all over the place. Really had a fine time tearing it up. So the grant will be submitted before June 3rd. I'll make sure this council gets a copy of it. And the depot will be included and the caboose will be included. However, the nomination process with the National Register, they are interested in the depot only. The depot structure is 1900. And the research that I've done shows that that building goes back to 1900. But at one point, it was moved off the property and went to Bradford County for storage of fertilizer and hay. Then it came back. The town purchased it in 2002, and thanks to Connie and the staff here, I found several resolutions I'm putting in the application. The town has vigorously tried to save this thing for over 60 years. when the Atlantic coastline tried to shut it down, you passed a resolution. When the Seaboard coastline bought out the Atlantic, and they tried to shut it down, or consolidated with Brantford, you stood forward there on that. So these documents show a very public interest in the depot. And still today, the depot is in really good shape. I've walked through it a couple times. It was restored in 2008, thanks to North Florida Professional Services. They gave me the pictures of the depot. Some of the records of the depot were lost in storage. They were in a facility that suffered water damage, so I don't have a complete record of how the depot was restored. And I don't know what happened to the depot that was built in 1888. But it's clear that depot played a significant part in bringing Fort White to what it is today. Fort White was a fort during the Second Seminole War, and it's carried on through the way today. And as I've told to the people in Tallahassee, this depot is on a prime location. If anybody's coming through Fort White, they'll receive the depot whether they like it or not. It's right there, it's totally visible, 500,000 people traffic count. It's one of the most visible historic structures I've ever seen.
Anybody, any questions? Take a motion to approve resolution 2024-02.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-02.
Second. All in favor of approving resolution 2024-02, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay.
And since it's not a regular agenda item, could I ask the council to add my PowerPoint at the end of your meeting? And I can show you the pictures and the people.
I've been in it, so I don't have y'all been in it. Yeah.
I will leave a copy here, you can take that.
We've actually been, I've been in it.
Thank you.
It's a neat little.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Okay, item number 4. This is resolution 2024-03, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort White, Florida, amending the town's fee schedule in total to provide a revised fee schedule of general planning applications, providing for enforcement, severability, providing for a repealer, and providing an effective date. In front of you, you will find a comparison sheet. If you'll look at this, you'll see the fees. I put on there what they were in 1993, what they were changed to in 2001, and what we're proposing for 2024. Our planner, Mr. Lowell Garrett, did an extensive study and has the fees that we're recommending now for the new fee schedule are ones that he's adopted, is recommending for us to adopt. And there are also some others that have been added to accommodate the changing environment that we have going on here in Fort White with the growth and the different things that are going to be required down the road for us as a community to comply with the land development code and the comprehensive plan.
Where did you say you got some of these fees from?
From different outlying communities that he does work with. He did a comparison and a rate study. And he also knows the work that's involved with a lot of it because he does it for us.
Right.
And so we've been losing money on some of these applications that have been coming through here. Because of the increased advertising costs, the increased criteria that it takes. For instance, Dollar General, that was a regular site plan approval. That took, the paperwork was this thick to go through for all the plans, etc., that were involved. It takes time and it takes money to pay people to go through all of that and ensure that the plans are drawn correctly and that all the criteria is being met. advertising costs have increased 50% at least.
Some of them look awful high.
Yeah.
I just, I mean, I guess he's done this study in other communities are charging this?
Yes.
Yeah. Makes me wonder what happened if we solicited a second opinion on some of these fees.
Can we get examples of what communities are using fees like this? Or
He does work all over. He does work for Gilchrist County, Levy County, Dixie County, Alachua County,
Sort
all
of.
over north central Florida.
are they posted anywhere where the public can actually see this, or we just have to take
You'd have to
your
go
word
to
for
the
it?
individual municipalities' websites.
So we have to take your word for it.
Sort of, also maybe sort of irrelevant too, right?
What fees are you think excessive?
Which ones?
Yeah,
Special use went up 400%.
your rebid?
Site plan went up 185%.
Site plan has to be advertised, site plan has to be reviewed, etc.
Special use
If you
permit-
have a legal description that this is this long, it's going to put you in the hole. And a lot of them do have extensive legal descriptions. And like I said, we've been losing money.
So why are you
We
making?
don't have the money to continue losing money.
Guys, we like the order, okay? If y'all want to speak, come to the podium, okay, please. We have been losing money, so we gotta go up on fees. I looked over it,
I don't know where he's gonna money. I'm not one who knows what this costs, because I don't have money to do none. Some of them.
and all these fees, Ms. Connie, is what he suggested.
Yes,
He suggested all this.
yes, under the fee column, yes.
Did we compare these to, like Colin County?
He did that for us. He went in and he did the comparisons. And based on the last 4 years of activity that he has performed for the town, which is what he has done, these are the fees that he's recommending. Not so that he can make money, because he charges very, very, very reasonable fees to us. This is to encompass advertising. This is to encompass the man hours that we spend here at the town. We have to make copies of everything. It's voluminous when a big project comes in here.
I understand the money can get unreal, but
It can.
can we look at this for a month?
Yeah, I think so too.
Just because of some of them are way up there, in my opinion, compared to what we charge. And I understand, I don't know how much we're losing either. I mean,
I'm definitely in agreement with you, 100%. I know we have to. but-
We have to. I mean, you either are going to go in the hole continually month after month,
we're
or,
not gonna do that.
So-
I would just like to look at it.
Can we get, maybe the next meeting?
well, I mean, he could probably appear Zoom, on a Zoom call or something like that, but, he has his health issues that do not allow him to drive at night.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's do it, and if you give us a month, and we'll
Yeah.
research it, if you want to,
I would love
whatever.
to try to
Yeah,
research
so-
something else.
So let's table it, bring it back on the next
Okay.
meeting, okay? Ms. Connie?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
So, I'll-
What?
Ronnie,
I had to steal his.
still got one guy won't come up and ask questions.
Oh, he can walk tonight.
I mean, I just,
Yeah, just one quick thing.
Well, you can either come to the podium.
just podium, sir, please.
Well, that was in public participation, should
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
taken
well,
place.
One thing that I would be interested in seeing, which I heard y'all already express a little bit, would be the paperwork on how much we're actually losing on some of these fees, in order for us all to understand that a little better.
Yeah.
Because it's shocking to me, and it seems like most of y'all too, from what I heard.
Well, some of it is, but she also does the paperwork, and
Right.
that's why we're giving it a month.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, should we table that? Ms. Connie, let's we'll put it back on the next one, so we got the, that's 20. Okay, number 5, Ford update.
Yes, in your packet was a letter that was sent to the chair of the Columbia County School Board asking for a 6-month extension on our acceptance of the fort based on the extensive inspection that was done and the extensive repairs that will be required. Mr. Doug is having the engineering firm do an estimate for us. We discovered that this fort was placed on the National Historical Register back in December of 1989. The school board should have and could have applied for National Historic grants all this time to maintain that building and keep it up, but that wasn't done. So because we've discovered that it is on the National Historic Register, Mr. Doug is going to have that same engineering firm that he has the access to take our inspection report and give us some sort of an idea of the financial picture that is going to be involved if we take the fort in order to bring it up to where it needs to be. And also, Mr. Doug is the expert to apply for these National Historic grants for us.
And we've got a letter in here from the school board.
Right.
They, their attorney contacted our attorney and said that, yes, they were in agreement to give us, and there is a letter in here signed by Mr. Flex Carswell that agreeing to the 6-month extension, resulting in a November 1, 2024 target date for transfer. So hopefully we'll be able to get a lot more information between now and then to make a dollars and cents decision rather than a emotional one, you know, because of the history and the different things that's involved with it, so.
We'd love to have it, but I think it's
Yeah, we'd love to have it, but we don't want to take on something that isn't able to be
If
maintained.
you look at the letter from the school district, it references language to a certain monetary threshold that the town has to agree to for them to basically keep it on hold for us in the next 6 months, or else they're going to explore their other options. Now, they don't explain what that means, and they don't give us any kind of range for a monetary threshold. I think that my response back to their attorney should be, we want it, we want to try to get it. As far as the monetary threshold, it's going to be based on the type of grants we get. So I don't know, you know, that's a very vague statement.
Right.
That could, you know, be used later down the road to be interpreted however they want to have it interpreted. So I think I need to address it in a response saying, look, you give us a vague, sort of a vague threshold to meet, which doesn't really tell us anything. And so we need to understand that we're going to work for the next 6 months at least to try to get it, to try to get some grant money to do it. Obviously, we don't have a bunch of money to try to have it. And that we'll keep you apprised along the way. And if that plan isn't acceptable, please let us know immediately so we don't spend the next 6 months trying to get grants and doing things and working, you know, fruitlessly for you to then give it to someone else to do something else with. I think we need to address that.
Okay. You agree with that? All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let's do it. We'll do that, Mr. Lane, that'd be
Do we
great.
just need to give you direction on that, or will we good with
You
what
just
it
need
is?
it, yep.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
Deal.
Okay, number 6, this is the second reading of Ordinance 2024-01. It's a text amendment of Section 3.09.30 of the Land Development Code. An ordinance of the Town of Fort White amending the Town of Fort White Land Development Code as amended pursuant to an application, Land Development Code 24-01 by the Fort White Town Council relating to an amendment to the text of the Land Development Code providing for amending Section 3.09.30 titled Mobile Food Vendors, amending Ordinance 2021-221 in its entirety, providing severability, repealing all ordinance in conflict, and providing an effective date.
This is second reading.
Correct.
Correct. I just need a motion, no more discussion, I just need a motion to approve it.
I had a comment that was never brought up, and it's for this particular case.
Well, this is a public hearing for this item, so it could be a
Right.
public comment or a public hearing about this.
Okay, right, okay, good deal, okay. So public, public meeting, okay. Yeah. So, yeah. All right, so this time we'll open the public hearing.
So after the last meeting, I thanked everybody for working on the ordinance, but I did send an email, and again, I didn't get any response. But there were still items on this ordinance that I think that needed to be removed. A, because you wouldn't be able to enforce it, so I don't know why would you have it on there anyways. It's outside your jurisdiction anyways. One of them was the local business tax for food trucks. That's preempted to the state, and Florida law states that no local municipality shall charge, as a condition of operation, additional fees. The other one that I mentioned in the email was about the grease interceptor. Every food truck has a commissary and has to go to their commissary to dispose of their wastewater, so therefore I wouldn't be required to provide the food trucks a grease interceptor. And in doing so, that would cause unburdened cost on the collective to put a grease interceptor for 4 food trucks. That's what you're currently saying is the maximum allowed there. The other thing is you stated on this ordinance that the maximum allowed food trucks is determined by the Columbia County Fire Department. I reached out to the fire marshal and assistant fire marshal, and they responded to the email that they did not give the town that number. So where that arbitrary number came out of, we don't know. Like I said, I have it in email, so you can say no, but it's in writing. And I think really that's the main issues that I have with this ordinance, with you guys kind of overreaching your jurisdiction or what you're allowed to do or not do.
Thank you. Anybody else want to close it?
Yeah, just to walk there?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
My name's Clayton McDonald. I traveled back to Boston to see my daughters. I was a crane operator. I traveled all around the country. And you got a place like D&G, Dollar General, you got Alvin, Dixie, these are all major corporations. Major. $1,500 is chump change to them. It's like reaching out a pocket for a half a penny. But small businesses, they're dying across our country. They can't compete. The other businesses, they buy in bulk. They can't compete. When we first started running the road, we went to all the so-called mom and pop places. The last 5 years, we could hardly find any. So could there be, I don't know if it's possible, like a sliding scale of what that site needs? You get down here, they got to do the land clearing, they got to put in the pipes, the electrical, that paperwork like this. Small business, paperwork like this. Just an idea.
All right, it's time we'll close public hearing. We'll close public hearing, we'll go to discussion. We've done been over this, guys, we beat this deal a year now, I feel. So I'm ready to put it to bed, to be honest with you. So, Lindsay, I know you worked on it. Yep. You looked over everything, and you feel like we're in accordance to what our law says we can do. As far as the grease, as far as the septic tank, that was all discussed with Ruben. He suggested that. That's where I came up with that idea, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of like, now they're going back saying, no, take the septic tank and the grease tank back out of it. But I thought that was a heck of an idea when they said that. So, that would be a way for us, to regulate the food trucks. Parks, excuse me, not food trucks, but food truck parks. Because the food trucks, we still have other food trucks that's in our community, but they're utilizing the commissaries, okay? But what we're working on here is something, this ain't a collective thing. This is anything that opens up inside of Fort White. So that we can govern, if somebody else comes in and buys the property right next door to them and wants to do 4 food trucks there, or whatever. I think it's a way that we, as a town, can govern what's going on the property. They don't have to leave. They don't have to have the commissaries there. They go to accept that. So, and like I said, that was suggested by the owner of the collective. And I like the suggestion. I do like that. So now we're going back and saying, no, I don't think that we need to do that. Well, I mean, that's where we derived the suggestion from. So anyway, all that being said.
And the grease interceptor is per Sally Ford from the environmental health department.
Right, I talked to Ms. Ford up there, and she said that's a way to keep the trucks from having, when they're dumping their waste into the septic tank, that's a way to separate the two. And I said, well, okay.
And just as it relates to the tax question that was raised, just so the council understands, the tax that we're talking about is the city business tax, and every business in the city pays, period. It's not preempted by the state law. What was preempted by state law is us charging additional fees and regulations for the operation of a food business.
Right.
So every business in County Fort White pays the regular, it's probably what, $20-30 a year, something like that? I don't know.
Yeah. 75.
75? Anyway, that's what everybody that has any kind of business in town has to pay every year. That's the tax. Not preempted by state law.
Florida law says that it is preempted by state law.
We disagree.
It passed in 2020. We don't have to disagree, it is the law.
Oh, I just said we disagree.
We don't have to disagree, it is what's written, and it did pass in 2020.
All right, sir, listen, come on. Do I have to scream off, do I have to holler order again?
You said it's a hearing?
Do I have to hold, no, the hearing was closed.
Okay. Well,
The hearing was closed. Now the board is discussing now, okay? Not the public.
I'm trying to help.
You're not helping.
I am, because I'm giving you.
You're not helping. You're just, you told me from.
Read the Florida statutes.
Okay.
He's a lawyer.
So the board,
I think he has.
guys, let's keep it up here, okay? So, yeah.
I want to ask him,
Maybe you should
so, the stuff he spoke about, you're in agreement with this ordinance still?
Yes,
What
what I have
everything-
knowledge of that he specifically referenced is the tax issue. The tax issue is there is a Florida statute that was enacted, I don't know, a year or 2, 3 ago, that deals with regulation of all types of food,
Right.
specifically mobile food. It has nothing to do with your regular city, operating in the city, you have to have a local business tax. So 2 separate things. I'm comfortable with that assessment.
Okay. I'm good.
So, just had something in mind to say to it. Okay, so, yeah. So, I don't remember what it was. But, that's what I was going to say. I spoke with the state also, the food truck, the regulated food truck, and they said a municipality has the authority, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay, has the authority to add any additional cost, whatever we want to add as a municipality. You can do whatever you want to inside that override. We can't undercut what the state is asking for, but we can say, and we need this also. They said you have the right as a municipality to go up above and beyond.
And this is
Again,
nothing
A,
to
right.
$75
Right.
apparently a year. B, this is the same tax that every business in town pays, and so there's no exemption for any business in town to pay that.
Right.
$75 a year, every business, whether it's this business or different.
And that is a year?
Yes.
I guess so. I
It's a
don't even know how much it was.
It's a year.
All right, so I just need a motion to, if everybody's ready, I just need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion for the approval of ordinance 2024-01.
Have a second.
Second.
Got a second. So all in favor of approving ordinance 2024-01, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right, so all in favor. Now, now that this has been approved, you know, Mr. Lindsay, I had a question. It's all dependent based on if it's approved or not. As far as special use permits and stuff, that comes, as far as music and all that stuff, that comes later and later.
It's in the ordinance that they will need to apply for their special use permit,
That's right, okay. Secondly.
which includes a site plan, et cetera, et cetera. As far as the inspection by the
Fire department.
fire department goes, it was no reason for us to contact the fire department prior to now, which we will be doing, and have the fire department assess the site and determine how many food trucks can safely be on the site up to the maximum of 4 that we have in the ordinance.
Because I spoke to the chief up there myself.
Right.
At one time and said, I didn't know if they could regulate this or not. And I said, can y'all regulate? And he said, sure, we can. So that's where we derived that from. So,
And so we will be contacting the
all right.
Columbia County Fire Department to come and do
Another
an
important
assessment.
question, Mr. Lindsay. Now that this has been passed, how long before they come in compliance would you give them before? I mean, that's a $1 million question, but sure.
Well, I don't know, you know, whatever infrastructure they have to put in, you know, I think that whoever owns the business needs to work with the town to come together, you know, put together a site plan, which also include a schedule of work, saying, okay, well, we're gonna do A, B, and C, and we're proposing that it's gonna take X number of time to do that. We can come back, you know, on or before the next meeting to approve it. I think that it's reasonable for both sides now to sit down and say, okay, let's put together a plan of action.
I just wanted to draw out and drag on and on and on. This thing's
No,
dragging
sir,
long enough.
I think we need to have a written plan put together. And I think, you know, we meet once a month, and now we have a whole month to do it, so I think that probably by next week we should have something.
Yeah, we need a letter or some plan of approach.
Correct.
Give me, what's our deadline here?
Correct.
Okay. All righty.
Okay.
All right.
Next on the agenda is the first reading of ordinance 2024-004, the annexation contraction for Lisa's Land LLC and Colin Jackson, Mr. and Mrs. Colin Jackson. Ordinance. This is the first reading.
I thought we passed last? No, I thought we passed something already. I guess we just gave you motion to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is the first
we
reading,
discussed it
because
in
we
the
had to
Yeah, I
post,
thought we'd
it, we
already
had
done
to
it, yeah.
advertise and all of that.
It was on the last agenda, but it was just on there.
Okay, got it.
It was on there as an information item, I believe.
I'm-
Okay, an ordinance of the town of Fort White, Florida relating to contraction of certain lands is herein described, which were voluntarily annexed into the town limits by ordinance 2020-211, and as petitioned for by the property owners pursuant to Florida statute 171.051, Florida statutes making findings, providing for land use, zoning, and land development regulations, and enforcing the same, providing directions to the clerk of the town council, providing a severability clause, providing a repealing clause, and providing an immediate effective date.
Yeah, I had we already discussed it, I thought, so yeah. Yeah, need a motion to approve.
To move to the second reading.
Okay, yes.
Make a motion to move to second reading of ordinance number 2024-04.
Good. All in favor of moving to the second reading board, 2020, what was it, 2024? 04. Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All right. Okay, and then number 9, that's the one, okay, number 9, discussion of town water supply. I'll handle this topic, I'll pitch in it where it needs to be. As we've talked about it, and those of y'all that have watched the commissioners' meetings and stuff, I've been staying kind of tuned in on them. Last meeting, we were given, I think, 30 days notice or something. They need to have an answer. Did you watch the meeting?
I did.
Yeah. They gave us a 30-day, they need to have an answer. Nobody has contacted me or Miss Connie. I guess they just assume that we're watching the meetings to let us know that we have 30 days to make a decision. Or what, I don't know. Secondly, even if we decide to do the water, what's the water meter they want us to agree to? What did they exactly want? They gave us 30 days for what, again?
To let them know if we were going to continue and enter into the O&M agreement with them to continue the operation and maintenance of the Fort White water system.
And yes. And nobody's contacted Ms. Colin, nobody's contacted me to ask me if that's what we want to do. And to let us know we even had 30 days. Secondly, I guess interlocal, I know Mr. Ford was here last time, and I know he let us know that the interlocal thing kind of got put on hold, but they were doing the O&M now, and supposedly Suwannee County was getting on board with them, but that's, how many customers?
16.
They got 16 customers. That's Suwannee County. So, we need to figure out what we're doing with our water. Either we're going to take it back, because we keep getting threatened, you're going to take it back, or you're going to let us run it. So we need to make a decision as a board. What do we plan on doing as a city? Do we want to take it back? Because sewer's coming up and fixing to be running too. Now,
We continue to get failed water reports.
yes, and we continue to get failed water reports.
When we agreed to turn this over to them 3 years ago, it was with the idea that they were going to improve the water for the citizens of the town of Fort White in lieu of us giving over the income from the water system. The water reports continue to fail.
Right.
The last one just got mailed out with the May bill. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And yet, we have given them thousands of dollars every month to improve the water and to improve the plant, et cetera, et cetera.
They got $300,000 ARP money that we were supposed to change, get a contractor back that we still don't have. But they got the money. Where'd that money go? Obviously, I mean, so what I'm saying is, do we want to take our billing and our system back over, or do we want to keep pushing forward? Because I'm just going to say it. I've spoken to DEP, I've spoken to Suwannee Water Management. Their plan, I know what the plan is now. The plan is to finish running that water line. Once they can tap into our water system, they're going to shut our water system down. And who are we going to be dependent upon? On the county. Okay? We don't even know what rates they want to charge the citizens right now. They have no clue. Now, if you talk to them, they're going to tell you they're going to keep it the same. If you talk to them, they tell you they're going to give you back with a tractor too. So what I'm saying, nothing is in writing. We've not ever sat down at the table and talked about what the rates are going to be, where we're going with this. So we need to make a decision as a council. What do we want to do as a council? Do we want to just go get our stuff back and us run it, or do we want to continue down the road? Because they're after our cup. You know what a cup is? It's through the water system. They allow each municipality to have a certain cup. Well, they're after the cup. That's what they're after. So if we let that line continue running and they tap into our water system, you do the math. They take the water system over, they get our cup, and it's almost like a military tactic. It's one thing at a time.
So now you're talking about if we take it back over, we still dealing with this
We'll
same.
have to, so we can, I mean, obviously, we made a wrong decision that way. So, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to. Because if we continue going like we're going and they tap into that water system, that's exactly what they're gonna do. So, yeah. We put in,
Can I shed some light on this?
well, Mr. Ford, you can, but I mean, like I said, we've done sit down and talk before and we've gotten nowhere. I mean, but you sure can, you sure.
I would like to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, the $300,000 for the ARPA money. That was spent by the town of Fort White. We never received that $300,000. We bought stuff for the water plant. Town of Fort White paid for it. County never received $300,000 from Fort White. Connie, am I wrong on that?
The $300,000 was spent on the water plant after the interlocal agreement was signed, where the county was responsible for all maintenance and repairs. And the reason we agreed to spend the $300,000 on the water plant after that interlocal agreement was signed was in lieu of us receiving the equipment.
But we never received $300,000. It was spent at the water plant.
Indirectly, you did receive it because we paid for all the repairs that y'all were supposed to pay for.
Yeah, because y'all were running the water plant.
If we put equipment at our water plant,
Pardon me?
the $300,000 went to the water plant.
To make repairs that they were.
Not saying that, I'm not saying that Colin
Yes.
County should have paid it or whatever,
Yes.
but it did go to the water plant.
Yes. But now we bought equipment based on recommendations from the county that's still laying over there that hasn't been installed, that it's just laying there. A year and a half later.
We had a water guy, I'm not gonna say his name, go by the other day, and he said that should be well done, been put on. The stuff should have been put on. If not the guy that works for the county that's down here. What's his name? A water guy.
Kevin.
It's not Kevin, but I had another water guy stop by there and said that they got equipment laying in the yard that should have been well put on. It's stuff, it just keeps building up. But go ahead, Ford, sorry.
So, now I just want to clear the air on that $300,000. Now, the next thing is, the water line coming to Fort White, Bill, I think you and the mayor both was on the council when we all agreed the best route was to run the water line to Fort White and provide water to the town.
Yeah.
For 20-something years, the town has had messed up water, we know it. We know those wells are not going to produce water that you can treat good enough for the town of Fort White. That's why the water line's being run. So, you know.
So that was a decision based on, y'all gave us 3 options. And we always wondered why y'all took the higher $5.2 million option at the time, which it came out a little bit more than that. Fort White put in $1 million, y'all put in $5 million. We always wondered, why did they go with the higher route? Well, we know now why it's coming down with the way y'all were coming down, okay?
It was talked about the whole time.
Well,
that
listen,
we would make water available for other areas of the county.
Right.
Spending money on a pipeline versus drilling wells somewhere around here and just run raw water to the town. And plus, the water coming to the town at that point will be treated water. It won't require treatment any further. Might require a little bit of chlorine added to it at some point. Might do a chlorine tank. And if I'm saying anything wrong here, you're welcome to straighten me out.
General industry, what you're saying is general industry knowledge of transmission lines, what we're trading, but
But
that's general.
Brian, am I wrong when I say I talked to DEP and they say that if they tap into our water system, that they could possibly come?
That I'm smart enough, no, I don't know the details of that discussion.
I didn't say any discussion.
But I will say,
but am I wrong when I say that?
I will say this too, right now, Fort White has 250,000 gallons up that y'all are at pretty much at capacity at right now.
No.
Is that correct?
I'll correct that one.
Yeah.
It's 92,000, it might be off 1,000, and you're using anywhere from 65 to 80 on a daily basis. And then to answer your question about that DEP, I think that anyone would say you have to look at that to fully understand. When you said it a few minutes ago, I was trying to think through that one, but I'm not sure.
Look, I want the citizens to have the best water we can have. But I know how
been on the board together for a while now, and your reactions of them coming in when we started talking about the interlocal, or not interlocal, the water authority, that was your biggest thing, was, will you gonna make us give you our water, our well and stuff, we're going to give you all our stuff, so you was real adamant about that. That's what I'm telling you right now, is that, okay, they're not gonna take it that way, now they will come in another way, run the system, the EPA will come in and shut your wells down. Now we're dependent upon the county for the wells. We still don't even know, don't even know what they want to charge us for the water. Have no clue. Never been discussed. So we're willing to take that chance.
Well,
That's what I'm asking the board of council.
I will say this, the county is not trying to rape Fort White or take advantage of Fort White in any way.
How can you say that when y'all got, y'all sitting there holding our equipment right now? And I don't want to, listen, I don't want to get into this tonight, really.
I'm just talking about the water system.
Yeah, I mean, but you're sitting there saying that you don't want to take advantage of the town, but on that second hand.
It'll be an agreed upon price for basically
when
the water.
When's the agreed upon price? I mean, we took y'all's word that we was gonna get a tractor and a backhoe. My workers are out there right now, broke down equipment in the town right now, in your town. And I can't get you to go up there and fight for us.
I've got five commissioners on that board.
Yeah, I know, that's what you said.
There's 5 commissioners on this council. So every one of them has a different idea.
Well, they wouldn't hear from out when you sit there and have Buster here and ask him what he wants.
I'm discussing the water. And I'm trying to answer any questions you might have about the water.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is we can't believe anything that you're saying because can't believe because you ain't got us supply. And I want to get, I'd rather not do this tonight, okay?
Let's go.
So let's just,
Let's talk about the water, please. I understand everything.
And I'll do whatever the council wants to do.
There's one way Fort White's gonna get good water, is tapping that system. Is there any way to make these wells good? I mean, they've been like this 20 years.
They never worked in those
Fort
wells.
White residents deserve good water.
Typically,
as long as
when
they
you
put up with this crap.
Typically, when you have a well that hasn't performed for that long, you would drill a new well if you wanted, and the other part, and I don't know everything about it, never actually fishing work. You probably go deeper, you do a different logic. I don't know much about the details of the well, but anecdotally, and I've been to the plant once or twice. But typically, you would go to drill a new well elsewhere and go deeper. You could drill a well. You could treat any water in America. You could treat wastewaters in towns in Chesapeake is the influence of the next county. You could treat it. It costs a lot of money, a lot of maintenance, different type of things.
It's public knowledge that all that land around there is contaminated. That's why we were moving the city wells outside the city limits to hit good water.
Typically, people would move wells.
So, I'm looking for the citizens of Fort White to have good water. I mean, how? I don't know.
As long as we're willing to give up.
I'm not too far behind. I live not too far behind the fire station. My water's crap.
That's why we're bringing it up to talk about it. And I just don't want to be in 10 years from now, we made the stupidest mistake we ever made in our life.
But I will say, at the end of the day, the whole decision's up to y'all. Y'all can make whatever decision y'all want to make.
That's what we're trying to come up with, and I'm looking for the best way, and I don't see, unless somebody can explain to me, how we can do it with the wells we got. And how we can afford to drill another one.
No, we can't. We can't get, with the wells we got right now, you're gonna get the same results we've been getting.
Right.
We done beat that dead over about the dead.
Well, so what's the
what's the alternative? So we didn't give the whole horse in the factory away and let them take the cup? That's what's gonna happen.
There's a couple options from what I understand. Not giving it away, you pay them for the water. But, yeah, I'm gonna.
No, what I'm saying is you're gonna get that, that's gonna be gone.
Or you can let them keep running.
That's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I understand that, but, we don't really have nothing there.
Right.
From what everybody's saying, the water is not gonna get better. Right there. Now, I'm not saying turn it over to the county. I'm saying we need to come up with ideas so we can tell the county which way we're headed with
Well,
this.
even if we decide right now tonight, let's get all our stuff back, and let's tie into their water system. Hell, you know what's the price?
Well,
we don't know what we're paying. We don't know what we're going to charge our citizens.
Well, you negotiated that. That's what I'm saying. You start negotiation. You can't just I can't throw you a price out there, I don't know what it is. I mean, you don't know what it is either, but it would be a fair price for water, I can assure you that. Because the Board of County Commissioners have to vote on it, and it would be a fair price for water, at a wholesale rate. But, like I say, at the end of the day, we don't, you know, if y'all say no, well, you stop it at the city limits, you know, but we don't have to come in town for a while. But I would really, as a citizen of Fort White and a user of city water, I would sure love to see the water come into Fort White.
That's sure would love to see stuff
Yeah.
come in. They come down, Plymouth Avenue, I bet 13 times a day with that semi-truck, and I don't know what they pumping down there or what they doing. And I have citizens ask every day, well, why do they come down here every single day, 10 times a day? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing with our water? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing?
And they are way ahead of schedule.
What are they doing?
With the fire, I noticed they come.
What are they doing? I'm not talking about the pipes, I'm talking about what they doing with that water down there. What are they doing? And they run over water and they come, and that semi-truck, they come down there every day.
It's for the solar farm. They're buying water out of the fire hydrants, they're filling the trucks. And
Every day.
every day, that's right.
Semi-truck, every day.
That's right.
They run off water,
They're
they're pumping
selling,
water.
they have a hydrant meter on the water out there.
Every day.
And they're selling water to the solar farm.
Why does this solar farm need so much water?
Who?
To keep the roads, they say,
Off of my
because of the
street.
lack of rain and the dust, et cetera, they're using it to keep the dust
I don't
down.
know.
Is it Deuce?
I don't know
Do
who's
get
doing
that
that
for
solar
putting
farm.
it in, but they don't want to own it.
They own it.
Yes, sir.
Who's selling the water? 'Cause
The county
I'm with
is.
the town.
Yeah.
The county's selling water off Plymouth.
The county is selling the town of Fort White water because they're maintaining our water system and operating it. So when a commercial,
It ain't no good.
so when a commercial entity comes in and they want to buy water, they put a fire hydrant meter on the hydrant, they hook up to the hydrant, and it has readings on it, and then they bill them monthly for that water.
And they spitting out water, it ain't no good.
And, you know,
You
that's
serious?
standard
Yeah, I'm
procedure.
serious.
That
That's
is
what they're
standard
doing.
procedure for
That's what
every.
they doing, with that hydrant out there, and then they running water off of it. Man, really?
Somebody went down there one day, I think what you're talking about is, over a weekend, somebody went down there and turned the meter on and the water ran and ran and ran and ran, and there was about 500,000 gallons lost.
Let's move ahead. I don't want to be all night. Listen, we gotta, as a board, we need to make a decision pretty quick. 'Cause Connie's tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of the threats coming from Columbia County. Let's decide one way or the other. I don't care. I really don't. But I'm tired of this department in here. Y'all don't have to hear about it all month. I do. So we need to make a decision, because I got y'all here tonight, we can make a decision, we don't have to do it tonight, think about it this next month, and have it come ready to make a decision on the next meeting, if y'all would, please. Either take all our stuff back, tell them to go pound sand, or either tie into their system and roll on. I really don't care.
How can we get a price?
Look it up online.
Excuse us?
All you gotta do is contact the county.
Who said look it up online?
I did.
Look what up online?
Look up the water prices online.
That's not a price they're gonna sell it to wholesale, I hope.
No.
No.
Okay, well, how am I gonna look
Look
it up
up, if
online?
you want to know the rates and what they're charging.
I'm not asking
look
the
it up.
rates they're charging, I'm
Yeah,
asking
we
what they're
know
gonna
that.
sell it to us for, is what Mr. Coon was just asking.
A wholesale rate, not a rate to the customers. We know what that is. We're talking about a wholesale rate from the county to the town.
Okay, but that goes with, you want us to look up the information, why can't you guys look it up?
There's nothing online
There's
that
nothing there to
says.
look up.
I can look it up all day long.
No, you
Like,
can't, because there's not a price, and there's nothing to look up. There's not a wholesale price out there yet.
I can tell you what, I can tell, well, I say I can, I don't have no problem with it now. But I can get you a price tomorrow of what we just agreed to pay the city of Lake City. for the, main industrial park.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's gonna be somewhere along those lines. And we just done an agreement with the city of Lake City to buy water for them for main industrial park,
Right.
to buy wholesale from the city of Lake City.
So this would be some kind of an interlocal agreement with a timeframe on it, or would it be a lifetime commitment?
It would be more than a local, local agreement, we would have to have a contract.
I know, it don't matter if you have a contract or
To
not.
keep them in.
Legally, what you gonna do if they go up on the price?
Huh?
Where you gonna get your water from if they go up on the price?
Well,
I mean, once you in, you in. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Once you buy into this, there ain't no turning back. There ain't no going backwards. It's there, and it's done. It's a done deal.
Well, I don't know.
There is a regulatory agency that says how much you can go up and how much on water. I mean, you can't just say, I'm gonna charge this much for water. And there's a regulatory agency that you have to get approved for to raise your price and give a reason to raise your price. It's not like the county can just say, all right, well, we're gonna start charging y'all this as of tomorrow. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
But you can have yearly, fastly growing, aggressive prices yearly. See what I'm saying? Once you're done it, there's no turning back. So that's what y'all need to think about, okay? 'Cause we need to have a decision, or we need to make a decision.
I agree, but we need to decide what we're gonna do with these wells we got to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Are we gonna keep giving them out this crappy ass water?
I'll come back next month with options and price on the options.
There you go.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
If we can,
Yeah,
we can have some options.
I agree with
I mean, I
them,
just
but I'm sick
started
of,
talking.
I'm sick of Fort White having this water they got.
Well, we thought 3 years ago we were gonna get better water, otherwise we never would have turned it over, but that hadn't happened
Well, I
either.
agree, but we didn't do nothing with it the whole time we had it for 17 years either. I mean,
Well, that's
not
why we
to
turned it
approve
over.
I agree. And they didn't do nothing good or ain't tried to do nothing good or whatever. But I think everybody on this board's in agreement. You're not gonna get good water out of them wells.
We use the water in my yard. I ain't drinking it. All right, guys, let's move along. Yeah, let's move along. We'll talk about it, you know, okay, next meeting, so.
All right.
All right, so, how many more?
Next.
That's not.
Next, as everybody knows, we have a vacancy on our town council seat for District 1. We accepted resumes over the past 6 weeks approximately. We had 2 individuals apply. They were scored based on a scoring system that has been utilized in the past. And according to the scores, our new council person will be Miss Catherine Terry. So,
It was a very close race, guys.
so Miss Terry, if you would come up so we can swear you in, please. Thank you. Will you raise your right hand, please? I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and will obey the laws of the United States and the state of Florida,
and will obey the laws of the United States and the state of Florida,
that I will in all respects
that I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the town of Fort White,
and ordinances of the town of Fort White,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District 1.
wait a minute, wait a
Do
minute. Do that one again.
And will faithfully discharge the duties
And will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of District 1,
of the office of District 1,
Town Council of Fort White, Florida.
Town Council of Fort White, Florida.
Are you sure before you did, I was gonna ask you, sure you really want part of this?
I don't know, after all that figure.
The first task is to figure out the water by next month.
Yes, we'll put you on that first half, so. All right.
Okay, citizen comments, we have one.
Oh, we do? Okay, I'm sorry.
We have one, yes.
All right. Citizens' comments.
Miss Rachel Tyler.
Hello.
Real quick, 'cause I know you all want to go home soon. My name is Rachel Tyler with a nonprofit agency called Southeast Rural Community Assistance Project. We provide free services to rural communities across Florida with water, wastewater, and solid waste. I'm waiting for my turn over here. But back to your wells, they will never get better. And there's more policies coming down the pipeline from EPA and DEP for cleaner drinking water.
Right.
And we're also coming across forever chemicals that are in our waterways. The PFAS, the PFOAs, and those are we've never designed anything to pull those out. I'm here to talk about keeping pharmaceuticals out of our waterways. Our wastewater treatment plants that you're going to be having soon were never designed to pull out pharmaceuticals from our waterways. I was taught as a child to dump these into our toilets. We are taking back the way we dispose of pharmaceuticals right now. The consequences to our environment are that our animals grow differently and they develop different gender roles. So a lot of our fish that are in farming waters are contaminated, we have more females than males, so our populations are dwindling. Our current practice is very simple. We have a drug take-back program. I dropped off a bunch of these at the pharmacy in Fort White. I can even leave a bunch of these with the city, with the town hall, with a little simple drug take-back program, or we can put it in the police department. There's many options. I will leave my card with Connie. So if there's somewhere else you want to put these drug take-back bags, that would be great. If you don't, and these are prepaid, it takes up to 8 ounces. You just put your unwanted or expired pharmaceuticals, and it can be over the counter or from the doctor, in these bags so they don't end up in the wrong hands. Fort White has many sensitive waterways around it, so ecotourism, all the sustainable things that we want for this community, keeping our waterways clean is essential. That's all I have. Thank you.
Cool, thank you.
And I'll leave my copy of Connie so I can help with any water issues.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, say nay. Good job. Congratulations.
Good luck. Year and a half on it.
Good night, darling.